the National Taxi Alliance has expressed shock at the explosion in the city of Johannesburg. They are also mounting concerns because this is one of the busiest routes in the city, especially for the taxi industry. The Alliance says it has been assessing the situation and getting expert advice on how to deal with this particular disaster. Let's speak to the National Taxi Alliance's Theo Malele, as well as SANTACO's Fritz. Thank you so much to you both this afternoon. Graham, I'm going to start with you. What are some of the assessments telling you?
Good afternoon, Bongi and your viewers. Good evening. Yeah, it is a shock for what happened, Bongi, you know. This isn't good, you know. We're actually lucky that one life has succumbed so far, and the amount of people that has been injured. Looking at the severity of the incident, however, the people has been hurt and also the inconvenienced, not mentioning about all our kumbis that has been damaged. Yeah.
Mr. Fritz, how many kumbis have been damaged?
For the taxi industry, I think as such, it's more or less about between 20 and 30. But I think my colleague, Mr. Theo Malele, who actually operates in most of that areas, will mostly give us an exact amount, because his vehicles as a National Taxi Alliance is actually operating there in that area.
And Mr. Malele, let's pick up on that, and you can give us a sense of how the damage is. What are some of the assessments telling you?
Well, good afternoon, and good afternoon to Mr. Fritz and your viewers. The damages were, done to 24 vehicles. And most of these vehicles have since been returned to their rightful owners. However, not all of them are operable. And as we speak, operators are working on repairing their vehicles, which about just over 10 of them. And we had also assembled a team that would actually go on the ground and ensure that we get the first-hand information. But unfortunately, our team members were turned back, given the severity of the situation, and we do understand the rationale behind turning these people back, because it is not safe at all to be in a situation which is like this.
And let's talk about as you say that some of them have started fixing the vehicles. Do they have assistance in terms of insurance?
Well, not all of them, have that kind of insurance. We probably are praying that perhaps, the city or authorities may have some proviso of a force de majeure that may come into handy and assist, this non-subsidized public transport mode.
Mr. Fritz, one of the things that is very clear, though, is that this is a very busy route for the taxi industry, and there's quite a lot of activity. And I wonder what's the impact in that regard?
Oh, there's a big impact in that regard, Bongi, because that is our main route, as you just stated, for the taxi industry, picking up the people, passengers, and taking them to their destinations and work. As you all know, operating licenses are issued, and taxis can only proceed along certain routes and roads. So this is definitely going to have an impact on us, and therefore we are requesting government, especially the transport department, to assist us with this so that we can have better roads for all our passengers to pick them up and drop them off.
Mr. Malele, I wonder, just how much of this shock to the pockets can the operators as well as the owners of the taxis be able to absorb, thinking about the fact that they're battling a rising cost of living. They were hit by the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The petrol price hikes were also in full swing. And I wonder, how are they then going to be able to absorb these latest costs?
Well, it has not been easy, ever since, those very issues that you've put across, which is why we've been urging, authorities to come to the party and begin to speak meaningful and, move away from, speaking in tongues, and ensure that this majority public transport mover is indeed assisted, so that we can better, the lives not only of those that we commute, but also of those that are affected. Look, the taxi industry, provides plus minus 400,000 direct jobs to the South African economy. This is not a small feat. We cannot afford, to lose any of these, operations, because they feed many multiple families. So, but then, just to get to the point, I cannot at this point quantify in terms of rands and cents of exactly how much we have lost. But, with that in mind, let us also request authorities to give us alternative routes and alternate, temporary ranking facilities, so that we are able to communicate these to our community masters who are currently confused. They don't actually know which routes to actually wait for their taxis, or which routes their taxis will be taking, and where to find these taxis as a temporary ranking facility.
Mr. Fritz, just before I come back to you to wrap up, Mr. Malele, I'm going to stay with you on this one, because these, as you say, the taxis have now, some of them being given to their owners and all of that, others are not operational. But I wonder, do they say some of them had passengers inside at the time?
No. We haven't had of any passengers that have been injured as a result of being in vehicles during the occurrence of this, outblast. But safe to say, there's only one person that was found underneath a combi that had also a combi felt on top of it, and also another vehicle that had fallen on it. So it was like a triple, a case that fell on this poor person who unfortunately lost his life.
Mr. Fritz, how then are you assisting your members in this regard? Because, I mean, such situations are likely to also cause a bit of panic.
We give them all the support we can as the industry. However, it's mostly from my colleague, Mr. Malele's structure. But as the taxi industry, we are really going to support them and assist all our members, and especially drivers also, so that we can have them safe and sound.
Yeah, and definitely. And Dr. Malele will also check in with you just to see during the course of the coming days how the situation looks and how things are unfolding, because as you say, some of them are not able to fix their vehicles. But let me thank you both for your time this afternoon. That was the National Taxi Alliance's Theo Malele and SANTACO's Graham Fritz.